Hey there, fans of speedy heavy music. This is Peter Sco, but music is a journey. Yes, I'm wearing a Queen t-shirt. Alright, so this is another video I've had in my mind for probably over a year. This is going to be a video about 10 songs going from, I think, 1968 to 1978 that are sometimes said to be like early, well, not exactly speed metal, but fast songs by hard and heavy rock bands. So probably things that could have led the way to what later on became speed metal and thrash metal. So let's take a look at these ones here. Very first off the bat, I'm going to mention Blue Cheer, and of course it's Summertime Blues. I was actually talking, while exchanging comments on one of my most recent videos with a person who's been watching and commenting on many of my recent videos. You know who you are, sir. Thank you very much. And he was saying that he and a friend were wondering where the metal gallop came, the metal riff that goes like junk, 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 junk. Where did that come from? So I don't know if this is the best example, but if we go back to 1968, January 1968, and Blue Cheer's cover of Summertime Blues, it has that kind of a galloping riff to it. It's got a gallop with a beat. It's which I guess is basically it. So give that a listen here. You don't have to listen to me do it. Yeah, so there we go. So that is not exactly like a thrash metal thing. It's more of a new wave of British heavy metal type of riff in its early stages. But that's going to be one of our first fast ones. Now, of course, when I talk about fast songs, sometimes if you actually count the beats of the drum, it's not excessively fast. In fact, it's quite mid-range, really. But it's more the urgency in the music, the speed of the guitar playing, the way the drums come in with the course of the riffs, how the bass is there. We can hear there's an urgency and intensity to the music, even if it's not going like dun 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 dun. So that actually will bring us on to the next one. You can see it sitting here. This is Led Zeppelin 1. Now, I remember reading about Led Zeppelin 1 in a music magazine way back in the 1980s, and they referred to the song Communication Breakdown as a speed burner, you know, dun 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 dun. But I always felt that that middle section of Dazed and Confused just has more intensity and more of that urgency, you know, the bass is going like doo 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 doo, and the guitars are doing the same thing, and you get the, you know, blazing guitar solo, and then the guitar solo part wraps up where it's just really flying, and Robert Plant is practically screaming his head off, and John Bonham is pounding on the drums. This part here. And then the drums go nuts. I mean, so for me, that's the most speediest and intense part of the album there. Although Communication Breakdown is pretty good. So that's the second one for our early examples of speedy, hard and heavy music. So third one up, gotta mention this one because it often gets mentioned. This is from Deep Purple's Fireball, the title track from 1971, and of course you know it. Sounds like this. And again, it's not that the drum beat is excessively fast, but it is the guitar and keyboard playing, and I'm going to say the bass too. They are just given that, you know, everything is going really urgent and fast. So it is a great, speedy song, I think, for 1971. Next one we're going to visit, I think this is now 1973 perhaps, so this is from Sweet's Sweet Fanny Adams, and they have a song on here called Sweet F.A. By the way, if you ever check out the history of Fanny Adams, at least I think I read the Wikipedia article, it is really a tragic, terrible story what happened to poor Fanny Adams. But apparently, based on that story, it became a sailor expression. Sweet Fanny Adams meant nothing at all, because what happened to Fanny Adams? She became nothing at all, or at least lots of little pieces anyway. Check out the story. So anyway, well, it's depressing, but anyway, Sweet F.A. of course has another meaning, Sweet Fanny Adams, or sweet, you know, another F thing and all. But anyway, the track on here, Sweet F.A., it is a pretty rousing, heavy song, and it does go into these galloping bursts in parts of it. And I always felt the close up to the song, the big instrumental, the guitars are going like, and then what's his name? What is his name? Andy Scott is just like going all over the fretboard. So let's just hear a short clip of that so you can hear what that is. Yeah, I always felt that was a really good, like, early example of, you know, what hard rock could do to take us on to thrash metal in another 10 years. Okay, well, one song that often gets mentioned as an example of early speed metal is, of course, from Queen, from the Sheer Heart Attack album, and that is Stone Cold Crazy, which, you know, there's like a Metallica live cover version, Metallica and Brian May, or something like that, but you know how it goes, right? It still has that kind of 70s rock groove to it, but it does have, you know, there's that speediness there to it, so that's pretty cool. So one that certainly gets mentioned often in these conversations is Black Sabbath. Now I'm sure you could probably pick out some parts of various Black Sabbath songs, but the one that I always hear mentioned is Symptom of the Universe from the Sabotage album. You know how that one goes, right? And again, it's not that the drumming is particularly fast. I mean, it's still like like this, but it's just the way the guitar riff goes, and then with the drums for accent points, it feels like a steam train going down the tracks and the pistons are pumping, right? This part here, like this. Right? All right. Fast, heavy, powerful. Ooh, that's the way we like it. You like it fast? Yeah. You like it hard? Yeah. You like it fast and hard? Oh yeah. You like it old? Huh? Okay. Anyway, next we're going to visit Scorpions Taken by Force from 1977 it is, isn't it? I think I always thought it was 78, but I do believe it's 77. And there's a song on here called He's a Woman, She's a Man. I don't know how well that would go over these days, but you know the song, right? It's like this. Yeah. So actually I bought this album in Canada, which is why it has this cover on it. I actually should have held out to buy it in Japan, because then I could get it with the original cover with the guys shooting at each other in a graveyard, which some people didn't like, I guess, for a reason which I should probably know, and I don't. So next up, here's a surprise one you might not know. This is from Uriah Heep's Innocent Victim album. I believe it's their second album of 1977. This just says 2004 reissue. Anyway, whatever. The second album with John Lawton on vocals. And there is a... While this album is not particularly hard and heavy, there is a song on here called Free and Easy, which is a speedy one. So let's check out a little bit here from Free and Easy. Do you think? Yeah. So that's Uriah Heep from Innocent Victim, 1977. And we're also going to take a look at one more here from 1977. So here's from Triumph's second album, Rock and Roll Machine, and the title track, Rock and Roll Machine. Yeah, they're purposely going for speed. And another interesting point here is that they actually have the line, Fireball Screamer, Heavy Metal Steamer, playing licks hotter than hell. And that is actually the second time I've ever heard heavy metal mentioned in a song that is actually referring to heavy metal music. And the first example is from Triumph's debut album. So that's an interesting thing. Once again, if anyone can name an older song lyric saying heavy metal where they're actually talking about heavy metal music, not about motorcycle and car engines, not about bomber aircraft, not about delinquent kids, exactly heavy metal music, let me know in the comments. So yeah, Triumph, Rock and Roll Machine. Well, okay, so it's not exactly like early thrash metal, but it does have speed to it. Alright, you can see it back here, can't you? Judas Priest, Stained Class, and of course the song I'm talking about is Exciter, the opening track on here. And this is also one that gets mentioned in these conversations about, like, you know, early examples of speed metal before there was such a thing as speed metal. So you know Exciter, right? Here it goes. Yeah, you know, this is what, 1978? So, I mean, that's pretty good, Now, I've actually heard it said that, what is it? The first track off British Steel. Suddenly the name of the track eludes me. I've actually heard it said that that song is faster than this one here. Yeah, and I absolutely cannot remember the name. I keep thinking Grinder, but Grinder is slow and heavy. The opening one? I forget. Anyway, that one. Yes. So anyway, from here, 1978, Judas Priest, Exciter. And the last one, wrap it up to 10. I think we're also talking about 1978. And this is, of course, Motorhead's Overkill. The title track, Overkill, is also... That's such a great song. I mean, even lyrically, it's a great song. So cool. So let's just hear a short clip of that one as well and just appreciate it. Yeah. Well, we all know how it goes. Anyway, so that's it. That is examples of 10 songs from 1968 to 1978 where hard and heavy music picks up the speed and the urgency and the intensity and kind of tells us, you know, which way it was going to go into the 80s when finally we would have speed metal and thrash metal and all that fast fun stuff. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching this video, everyone. And you got any other songs I haven't mentioned that are from the 60s or 70s? You know, we could have gone back to some of the 60s songs where they break into a speedy part. I think Yardbirds, like I'm a Man, the last half of it goes into this really speedy part. Yardbirds had these rave ups, you know, and sometimes they'd have a song that would suddenly break out into high speed near the end. And I think there were other bands from the 60s who would do that too. I mean, you could think of, what is it called now? 7 and 7 Is, or something like that, by Love. You know, I mean, the drums are just really going fast paced for that one there. But yeah, if you know anything else, you want to mention it in the comments, please do. I'd like to check it out if I don't have it already. Okay, thanks again for watching, everyone. See you next time. Bye.